I make a lot of videos about these full restorations that we do that obviously are very expensive, very many thousands of dollars, but they don't necessarily have to be. Not everybody necessarily has the need for that full restoration, new strings and new plate, paint job and keys and action and hammers and dampers and everything. Sometimes it's more something like this. This piano was made in the great year of 1988, and usually about 10 to 20 years, or 20 to 25 years rather, is about the right amount of time before a piano needs to be refurbished. So let's see, that puts this piano at how old? We don't want to think about that. 37, 37 years old. Wow, that's a big deal. Okay. Yeah, about 20 to 25 years is about the right amount of time before a piano needs to be refurbished, and more like 80 to 100 years for a restoration or rebuild, or in this case, this Chickering is 1860s. So we're rebuilding it not at 80 or 100 years, but what is that? 160 years. Okay. So, but this piano, the client didn't have the need for a full restoration, but it is sentimental. She remembers getting this as I think she said she was 9 years old when she got this piano for Christmas in 1988, and now her daughter, who is 6, is going to be learning on this piano, and things aren't working extremely well. I mean, they're working. You can still, you still play a key and you get a sound. There's a very broad range of what will function, but a fairly narrow range of what is functioning optimally or what is functioning correctly. So that's really the goal of the scope of this project. The idea basically is we're going to keep the budget as low as possible while making it giving her the best bang for buck, basically. So the kinds of things that we're going to be doing on this, you can have a look in here. First thing that you see is things. I mean, this is pretty standard. This is actually pretty clean as far as pianos go that are 37 years old, but as far as how it's going to be, this is, it's filthy. So it's full of dust, which all pianos are, and that's, by the way, not a knock on her cleanliness. Her home was very clean, but that's just how all pianos look, even in immaculate, spotless homes. They're all just totally filthy on the inside. And then the hammers are not terrible, but they need to be reshaped. You can see these cuts if you kind of look over the top. Yeah, you can see the lines in the hammers where the hammers have been striking the string year after year, repetition after repetition, scale after scale, and so they cut deep grooves into the hammers. Those need to be reshaped so they're back to a proper rounded shape. Then things need to be generally regulated, aligned, lubrication, tightening, so that everything's functioning, just as it's supposed to. We'll probably do other little cosmetic things as well, like maybe polish the pedals. She didn't want us to refinish it. That is out of the scope of this project. It's not desperate, but I mean there are a few things, but for her, it's just not what she needs, and that's just fine. What else? Regulate the pedals. We might look at the bushings. I'm not sure, depending on how far she ends up wanting to go. But the bushings are, as far as tightness, they're probably middle of the road. Like, they could be addressed, but don't necessarily have to. And then, of course, tuning and voicing and just making everything in good condition. So that's the plan for this piano. So what I hear is just obviously out of tune, but that's an easy fix. I hear some clickiness. It might not come through, pick up on my little mic here, but there's some clickiness in there. I hear a little bit of nasal tone, which is a result of the hammers that need to be reshaped. I can feel a little bit of lack of responsiveness. It feels like maybe the let-off is a little bit far. I'm not getting the... poor piano playing, it just feels like, you know, a little bit of regulation will go a long way in this piano. So that's the plan. It's going to be a big difference when we're done.